Okay. Hey guys. So here we are, boot camp. So excited that you're here. Love to see in your faces. If you can turn your cameras on, we'd love to see you. It's how I like to connect. It is such a big part of who Phil is. So I don't care if you're wearing makeup or just rolled out of bed or you're still in bed. I don't care. So I love to see you. We're here to talk to you guys today about just some things. Like, I've been feeling the heaviness of some things that were happening in October. And as I talk to my team, as I talk to my friends, as I talk to my family, there's a lot going on. And so I just wanted to kind of address that here, that, I know that I'm not in your shoes, and you're not in my shoes, but I know that we're just going to talk about things in life. Like, life comes with ebbs and flows. Life comes with mountains and valleys. And we just help you, like, because of where, like, but I don't know, my life story, where I've come from and where I'm at now, there's a big story there, but it's because of those experiences I've had that's made me stronger. That's gotten Phyllis to a place where I am today. And so we just want to kind of like do a little bit of encouraging, but also just sort of bring down like maybe some of the emotions that are feeling high or maybe super low. So can we just start by, let's take 3 deep breaths. And then I'd actually love to start this. So let's just, like, whether your camera's on or off, just breathe it in, you guys. Take some big deep breaths and blow out all the stress, okay? Just let it go. We're gonna release some things today. Okay, big deep breath again. Blow it out. One more time. I feel better already. Okay, let's just open with prayer. Dear Lord, we see all these beautiful faces, and we more than and feel these gorgeous souls. And we just ask you, Lord, that whatever we're coming to this time together today, that we just put it out there on the table. We just release it to you, Lord, and we give it to you because we know that you are more capable of handling anything in our lives than we could ever imagine. And so I just ask, Lord, that everybody commits that, opens their hands to you and says, Lord, here it is. Please do with it what you will. And release that worry, release that stress, release that burden, whatever it is, so that we can be that person that you want us to be, because we are here, Lord, on purpose and for a purpose. And we ask you to just enter our hearts and our minds today and help us to see that, discover it. If we aren't sure about it, Lord, just put a bright light shining on it so that we can see that. And as we can step into your greatness and your plan for us, we ask this in your name, Jesus. Amen. So, all right. We talked about having to go through hard things sometimes, and it does help us grow. On our call, we did a little team call this morning, and we shared, like, there's a lot of happiness when you really open up your hearts to each other, and the vulnerability. There's a lot going on. And so what we kind of came to, well, we just talked about some highs and lows, and where Barbie said, at the top of a mountain, you can't stay there or sustain that. It's in the valleys where all the beautiful soil and all the farmers and the things that are creating and making things happen are. And I love that analogy, so I had to use that because that was just a beautiful picture for me to see that. And also I know that perspective, if you're always living on a high, you don't know what a low feels like. And boy, what happens if you feel low and you've always been on a high? It feels like, what is happening here? So it just puts it into perspective for us, and learning what to do with it. So if you're in that season of low right now, I encourage you to feel it, see it, but just know that it's temporary. It's not going to stay like this forever. And so, what can we do in the meantime? Like, what can we do when you're feeling like, no, Phyllis, this is like I can't see it. I can't get out of it. It's so low. It's, it's terrible. I'm going to encourage you, or maybe you're in a high right now. So let's just say you're in that high right now. You're in a great space. How about we prepare for when that low is to come? And in your mind say, what are 3 things that I can do when I experience that low? Like, what are 3 things I can turn my focus on and attention to when that low is in my life? And so, it's not that you're going to prevent the low, guys. You can't prevent it. It's coming. I mean, I don't know, that sounds a little doomsday, but it's there. We can see it. We open up social media. If social media is creating your lows, turn it off. Get on your social media to be consistent and post about your products and your business so that you can grow that and experience the love and the joy and all that comes with helping another person feel better and change their lives. But then get off of it, because I know for me in October, there were some things happening in there just with other people and their stresses, their hardships in life were just flooding. It seemed like for about a week, and I was feeling it. And I was like, okay, I can pray for all of this. And I will mention that I will pray for it, but I literally had to turn it off. And so if there's something like that, an outside source, know your boundaries. Like, where are those stressors coming from? And is it something that you can just say, hey, I got to step aside from that relationship. I got to step aside from, just those things that are coming at me, and make that decision, or say I need some space right now. And then other things that I have experienced lately is I found the book, The Circle Maker. And so can you guys put in the chat who else has read The Circle Maker? Just put a 1 if you've read it or you've heard about it. Yeah, Brooks, I love that book. Chris is like, 1s. It's awesome because Barbie hasn't opened it. Awesome. You're going to want to open it because I love how, anyway, it's about creating a circle around you and just saying, I'm not leaving this circle until the prayer has happened for me. Like, you stay in it and you stay consistent with it, and you are coming to God and saying, look, Lord, surrender, here's what I have that I can't handle. I know you can, and I'm going to praise you through that circumstance. And I'm going to thank you on the other side, knowing that here's the result I'm looking for. And that's your prayer. And so it's so like, I don't know, just so, there's so much relief of worry and heaviness when you pray that way. When you pray like, this hardship is sitting here with me right now, but I'm praying that away because I know that God, like, that's all we have to say. I know that God is in control, and I'm not. There's some things you can control and there's some things you can't. So you just give away. So Circle Maker, put that on your list, guys. I'm giving you some resources today because none of us can sit and figure this out ourselves. Like, we just can't. But there are some resources and things that I believe are put in our life to help us through a situation. Maybe it's a person, maybe it's a podcast, maybe it's a book, maybe it's, getting organized and putting your thoughts down daily. So I wanted to, let me see, another resource. I wanted to show you this planner. Brooke, you gave this to me a long time ago at your online retreat. And I just opened it up. Overwhelming, or that's not fun. And so I finally said, if I want to get from this space to that space, I need to do something that might not feel so fun. And actually, once I started digging in, it's fun. It's actually really stimulating, and it's actually very helpful. And I've spent time filling in all the blanks. And when I start my day like this, and every day it's the same thing, there's not any new questions. So it's not like, oh my gosh, this is too much. It's the same questions every day with a weekly review and then a monthly review. And I actually gave this to my son and I said, hey, would you do this with me? I think this would be great because he's entering college. And he goes, Mom, that's not how my brain thinks. And I said, honey, nobody's brain thinks like this. But we're training our brain to think differently and be successful in whatever it is in life. And so I'm just going to encourage you guys to look at not just getting a planner, because a planner doesn't stimulate. And I know Brooke has possibility planners. Like you can order Brooke's possibility planner. You can look at Brendan Burchard's high performance habits planner, and see what works for you. But just pick up something that will focus your attention and focus your time, focus your consistency, because even in the darkest of darkness, because I've been there and ranked emerald during that time, you can still get stuff done. Okay. And that sounds sassy the way I just said that. I want to say it with all the love in my heart, is that the devil doesn't need all your time, because he wants you to stay like under a bushel. And this is, sorry. He doesn't want your light to shine. He doesn't want happy, healthy people. He wants you to live in that darkness. And so I've heard some people say, I'm here, I'm sitting quiet, I'm listening to God, but I want to know, like, is that really God's voice? Or is it the devil saying, yeah, let's isolate, let's keep you inside, let's keep you away from people, because you know what, you're powerful. And thanks, Barbie. Sorry. And I guess because I'm feeling the heaviness of life and team and all that, and I know what they're struggling with, and I know that it is temporary. I know that. And I know that there's a way to pray through it. I know that there's a way to find resources. I know that there's a way to not hide under a bushel, to shine your light, to show others that, hey, I'm here, I'm still showing up. It's hard, but I'm here. Because guess what? You're going to talk to a person, they're going to be like, wow, I didn't know you were struggling too. Okay, let's get together and make stuff happen. I have 2 team members that said they've got some hard stuff happening right now, but they said when they get together twice a week, it's like all that goes away and they can focus on their team. And so, so I love that, because yeah, there's joy in gathering, whether you do it on Zoom or in person. There's joy. Like I said, I wanted to see all your faces because I love seeing your faces. I love that connection. That is what Phyllis, like, you're feeding me when I see your face. I love that. So, how are we showing up? I got to read something else that Trent Shelton just, like, so here's another thing. Trent Shelton every day, maybe every day or something like that, sends a text. So you can sign up for these. They come to your little phone, and sometimes it speaks directly to me and my heart, or it speaks to like a team member, and I go, oh my gosh, this is what they're dealing with right now. I'm going to send them this message. So his message today was, okay, a lot of things in life will be out of your control. Focus on the things you can control, like how you treat yourself and what you accept. So this is what I'm saying is, what are you allowing in your circle? Is it healthy or is it not? Treat yourself well. He says, I get up every morning and remind myself that there's a purpose in me, and it only works if I show up. Feelings are fickle, and that's a fact. What you feel today can completely change tomorrow. Get up, show up, make the world respect your greatness. And so I love that, because I was like, thank you, Trent. It's like, don't hide yourself. Don't hide from your greatness. We're here we are here on purpose and for a purpose. And so maybe that's something you need to sit in your quiet and decide, what is that purpose? Lord, show me. And keep your eyes wide open, because sometimes it's the thing you least expect, your purpose. Another thing I want you guys, like we talked about like knowing your personality, because sometimes that will like help with self-discovery. Like, why am I always like this? Or why am I always like that? Well, there's some things we're just born with, guys, and it's good. There's some good to it. And then there's some like little blind spots, but knowing your blind spots is a revelation. It's how you can say, oh, wow, that doesn't help me shine my light bright. So maybe I can work on that a little bit more. Podcast, books, counseling. Oh my goodness, counseling. We talked about medication. Guys, if you need medication, like we talk about like plexus and natural and all this all the time, but there is no shame. If this is a season of dark depression that you're like, I can't, there's a well, I'm in it, and I don't even see the rope. You need to go get a rope to pull yourself out of that well. And sometimes that's medication. So there's no shame in that. I just want that to be very clear. And we can say all these loving and positive things and self-help and this and that, but sometimes you just need a good, strong counselor and some good medication to get you out of the well and back on track. Okay, so Clifton Strengths. This is something else I can type in the chat. I just did this like 2 days ago, and I have a personal coach. And this Clifton Strengths, it's got 34 personality, 34, things about your personality. And it nailed it. Nailed it. And it's saying the first 5 things are really like your core. Like that's what shines brighter. Everyone sees it and it's good, but there's some blind spots to all of those too. So knowing the blind spots is where we can, just again, personal develop and own it. So grab that. It's $50. It's like 120, 50 questions. And it's fast because they want you to answer it within 20 seconds. And the results are cool. Now, my personal coach, she's done some training with it. So it was even more amazing because she walked me through some stuff and it was incredible. It is online, Julia. I think just type in Clifton Strengths, you'll find it. And so yeah, Barbie's saying, I need to slow down, sit with your feelings, weed out the lies. It's so true. Like that's what this pandemic did, was it made us sit in our feelings. And that's been hard and painful for a lot of us. And that's why I feel like it's kind of like just finally like this lava is bubbling up and it's like, here's your volcano. But what can we do with that? Like, this is where we can say, wow, those were some hard feelings, or I'm in this space, but what can I do? And I love that because I've just found those words like, Phyllis, you had COVID, the next day I had 2 Zoom calls. Well, I'm going to get up and show up because my symptoms aren't that bad today. So there's no excuse. Like I still don't feel great. My brain felt a little foggy, but I showed up, or I could have said, oh, I don't feel good. And I'm just going to wallow here and pull my blankets up my head. Guys, I look like a hot mess. And I showed up for my Zoom calls because you just show up as you, because like today I curled my hair for you, but I didn't need to, right? You guys still love me without curls in my hair. Put a 1 if that's true. So and we all love you without curls or makeup or whatever you think you need to show up for people. And so that's another thing. I don't know, maybe I am squirreling a little bit, but I just keep getting these impressions of like, for myself, Phyllis, show up. And I'm being called, I feel very called to start creating more videos. So I'm going to start creating more videos that talk about our products. And because I'm noticing my business is blowing up because I'm talking about the products more and I'm being a little more nerdy Phyllis like I was in the beginning. And so I was like, oh, but my hair's not perfect and I need to have all this and the lighting just right before I make the video. Well, there's a little truth to being professional, right? You want to be professional, but dang it, if I just went on a run or exercised or went to the beach, why not talk about ease with, with an exercise outfit on? And so I'm just flipping my script. I'm changing the way that I think of perfection because perfection isn't real. And so, thanks, Jordan. Perfection isn't a thing at all. Nobody relates to it. And in fact, you kind of drive people away. I know that that's true in my own life. If people can't relate to you, they're just like, I'm out. I could never do what she does, right? Phyllis went emerald in 11 months. My team said, I can't do what you do. I'm out. So we're here. Brooke's going to talk about simplifying. we're going to simplify things because you can do this and you can do whatever you want in this business. If you want 500 bucks a month, you can have 500 bucks a month. If you want 1,000, 2,000, 3,000, 4,000. I mean, when Brooke told me what she made when I met her, I was like, that's what I want. So that in Phyllis's brain was what I wanted. And then it flowed from there. Like God gave me these things like, honey, look what you could do with that kind of money. So that became my why. Anyhow, I'm going to turn it over to Brooke, I think. I think I'm done with that. And let her tell us or share with us like what we have in place for you guys to make this so, I love you, Shayna. I saw you kissing me. Yeah, to make this easy for you.
Hey guys, I want to make sure that you can hear me okay. Could you put a comment in the chat if you can hear me okay? Because my internet, it seems like it's kind of chunky, but maybe my sound is okay, but my video might be a little delayed. So as long as you can hear me and I'm not breaking up, we are good. And if I'm a little delayed in the video, that's fine. So I love this. When Phyllis and I were talking last night about what we were going to talk about, and she shared with me, I said, I think that's fantastic because I've sensed that a lot of people feel really weary. That's the word that I would describe with it. It's just kind of weary. And sometimes when we get weary, we also get weary of well doing, and we just kind of want to stop and tap out. And so I'm just going to add a couple more things onto what she was talking about that have been tools to help me navigate 6 years of building a business, losing people, having disappointments, not meeting goals, being, maybe rejected, like all the different things that are really negative that can shut us down. I mean, put a 1 in the chat if you've experienced any of those things: rejection, fear, worry, scarcity, feeling like you're not enough. Any of those things, put a 1 in the comments. Just because I have 3 diamonds in this house doesn't mean that I have not experienced that. In fact, I've probably experienced it on a magnitude like far greater. It's just that I refuse to quit. I refuse to let that be my story. And so there's a couple things that I want to talk about because it's important for you to know that several years ago, I went through a very deep depression while I was building my business and when I was a double diamond. So I think it's important for you to understand that nobody is perfect. But even as I was going through that and I was working through that, I paid attention to the things that I could do to shift the energy in my life. I do believe that everything is energy. And if we have positive energy and we have high energy or high vibe or whatever you want to call that, if we can know how to create that in our day, even when we're not in a good space, we can then seize that opportunity when we have our highest energy and our highest vibes to get our work done. So in the chat, I would like to know, what are some things in your life that you can use, some tools that shift your energy? If you know me, you know that movement is one of those things: nature, fresh air, movement, anything that has to do with physicality and using my body. And there's just so much research about that. It's not even just a thing. It's like actually scientifically true that it'll change our brain chemistry and it'll change our energy. So music, exercise, the beach, ocean, movement, sunshine, prayer, meditation. Okay, so I want you to make a list, and this is your go-to list for the low days. Now, guess what, you guys? Did you know that even when you're low or you're struggling, you still can make the choice, right? And so even when I don't feel like it, I'm like, these are my tools. Do I want to stay here or not? Do I want to park here or do I want to start moving forward? Okay, I really don't want to stay here. This kind of sucks. So I'm going to start utilizing some of these tools, even if I don't feel like it. I'll start with a walk. Maybe I'll start running, and then maybe I'll be jamming out by the end of that run, or I'll listen to a book, or I'll listen to a podcast. So what shifts your energy? Make your energy list, right? And then I believe that no matter what you're walking through, whether it's divorce, a sick child, depression or anxiety, challenges in your life, that there are those golden moments, times, hours throughout the day that are your best energy times. Like I call it the prime time hours. Do you guys know, do you pay attention to the rhythm and cycle of your body and how your body feels throughout the day? It's something that I started paying attention to several years ago, is when are my peaks during the day and when are my valleys? I'm not going to put IPA time or work time in the valleys. I'm going to do it at my peak. And if we start paying attention to ourselves instead of beating ourselves up because at 3 o'clock, that's a valley. And we're like, why can't I get work done? Why can't I sit down and crank through this? Why am I not motivated? Well, because you're putting your work time in the total dumpster. Like you've got to put it at the peak. If you have goals and you have things that you want to do to move forward, you have to understand that you are not a robot. Can we put that in the chat? I am not a robot. You might think I'm a robot, but I'm not. I slept in until 9. I didn't get out of bed until 9:15 this morning. I didn't want to work out, but I put my clothes on because that's in my toolbox, and I ran for 50 minutes. I started out slow. I picked up the pace as I went, and I feel like a different person now. So you do have tools that can shift your energy. And I want you to think about when during the day you really need to put your work time, like that really solid, intentional 30 minutes, 60 minutes, 90 minutes, 2 hours, whatever it is, that's your sweet spot. Okay. Now, if you're struggling because you're like, my whole day is stressful, I work full time, I have a sick kid, I have a special needs child, my marriage is going through some challenges, like, anybody have challenges in their life? Put a 1 in the chat. Okay. My child is struggling. I have a family member that really needs me right now. Right. So I really truly believe that no matter what you're walking through, you can prioritize yourself, your dreams, and your goals. That you don't have to let all of that take a back seat. Because the only thing that happens when you continuously put yourself in the back seat, or maybe not even in the back seat, like you're in the trunk, like you put yourself in the trunk with like all the dirty, stinky stuff and the spare tire, that's where you are, that months and years from now, you look back and you're like, I wish I would have done that. I wish I would have just hung on. I wish I would have just like taken that hour, like Brooke talked about, like that golden hour, that peak time during the day. And I wish I would have just prioritized myself and my dreams for an hour. If that's all you can give, fantastic. Give it. If you can't give any more than that, okay, no problem. Give it. Okay. So those are some things I want you to think about. And then the last thing before I move into strategy and systems, because it has been so big on my heart, like literally the last 6 to 9 months, is simplify, 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 simplify to magnify, make it so easy. If it doesn't pass the napkin test, we're talking like cocktail napkin. If I can't put the system on a cocktail napkin, it has no place in my business. Because if I can't fit it on a cocktail napkin and it's got to be a whole separate like Google document or whatever, I am not going to attract high-powered, energetic people that want to grow a business that don't have a lot of time. And I don't know anybody that has a whole ton of time just sitting around. So that means basically everyone. And so as I've been thinking about simplifying it, we've created some systems to make it easier. But the last thing I want to say before we move into that is going back to your thoughts and what you're thinking. So we all know the thought model, right? You guys have probably been listening to Brooke Castillo for years because we've been recommending it, or maybe you've read other books on what to say when you talk to yourself, or anything that has to do with thoughts. We all understand that our thoughts create feelings, and that impacts the way that we act and show up and what we do or don't do. And then that directly impacts our results. But what I like to insert in there is that you have your thoughts and you have your feelings, but there's also a line we could put in there that says the choice. The choice. Okay? You are not somebody that can't make a choice to change your thoughts and your feelings. And once you become aware of the way that you feel, and it's brought to your awareness, and you understand, oh my gosh, this is what I feel. And a great exercise to do this was one that I started doing when I had my very first coach, Preston Pugmire. He started to ask me, hey, what is it that you're feeling about that? And I would say, and then he goes, well, and if that's true, then what? And then I would say what I thought was underneath that. And then again, he would say, and if that's true, then what? And I would say what was underneath that. And if that's true, then what? And we would go down that rabbit hole, right? Taking that initial thought, well, if that's true, then what? Well, if that's true, then what? And this is something you can literally on paper write down, and then a little down arrow. And if that's true, then what? And when we got to the bottom of it, it was that I am not enough. I will never be enough. There will never be enough of me. I am just not worthy. I am not enough. And so when I got to the bottom of those thoughts and I was left with what my core belief, my core thought was, then I was faced with a choice. Okay, so this is where the choice is. And the question that I often ask, and I encourage people to ask in a challenge to your thoughts and your feelings is, but is that what I want to believe? But is that what I want to believe? So when you're sitting around and you're like, my business isn't growing and I can't develop anybody, nobody wants to do this with me, right? One in the chat, if you've ever said that, ever thought that, ever felt that, ever spoken it, okay? So when that thought comes and I really feel it, I have the opportunity to capture the thought and challenge it, capture it and challenge it, and say to myself, but is that what I want to believe? Do I want to believe my best days are over? Do I want to believe I can't recruit anybody else? Do I want to believe that I can't develop anybody else? Is this a thought that I want to believe and I want to live with and I want to cozy up next to and I want to build a foundation and a home on? Is this the thought that I want to believe? And then the second question I ask myself is, how is this thought serving me and others? Or not serving me and others? Because if I decide, because it is a decision, if I decide to believe that thought or feeling, how is it going to impact my actions and how I show up or don't show up for my people? Show up or don't show up for the people that are waiting for me, that need what I have. If I can have perspective and I can think into the future, what's going to happen if I don't show up? What's going to happen if I quit? What's going to happen if I don't take action? What's it going to do to me and my future? Am I going to be able to give us financial freedom? Am I going to be able to give us time freedom? Am I going to be able to get out of debt? Am I going to be able to help my friend Sally over here who's going through a divorce and really needs this opportunity? Is this, am I like, if I give a place and a foundation to that thought, am I going to be able to leave an impact and help Jenny, who is living in debt and getting out of an abusive relationship, or Mary that has never had confidence, never believed in herself, thinks she's a pile of crap? If I decide to embrace this thought, how is it going to serve or not serve me and others? And the last question that I ask when I capture the thought and I realize, holy crap, that is the insidious, diminishing thought. Is this thought magnifying or diminishing? Is this thought magnifying and building up, or is it diminishing? If it is diminishing, if it is destroying, if it is dark, I'm like, that is not a thought that I am going to keep around, because 80% of our thoughts are negative. And 95% of our thoughts are repetitive. Think about that. 80% of our thousands and thousands of thoughts every single day are instinctively, automatically negative. If we can become aware of those thoughts and we can challenge our thoughts and shift it into a different thought, a more empowering thought, a true thought, a light-filled thought, an optimistic thought, a positive thought, a what-if thought, a it's okay, I believe it's going to happen kind of a thought. If we can shift it to that, and then 95% of our thoughts are repetitive, what are your thoughts going to start to become? More positive, more forward thinking, more solution oriented, more maybe there's a way. If I were going to do this, how would I do it? If it was going to happen, how would it happen? Because I do attract people to me, how do I attract them to me? Right? So it's just this process of listen, you guys, I have the worst thoughts like ever. Like, oh my gosh, so many thoughts. But what I have done for 6 years is I have asked myself, is that what I want to believe? I really don't want to believe that. So help to show me how I cannot believe that. because that is not a magnifying thought. And I don't want that to be my future, because I don't want that to be the future that I give to other people. Okay? All right, so that's where we're going to live in our thoughts, and hopefully there's some tips there that will help you. So now I want to shift into what so many of us have worked together. And whether you choose to use this system or not, we have no judgment for you, okay? But I have seen a lot of things in 6 years. And I have built a lot of businesses and developed a lot of level 1 jewels, okay? And in the process, I've had the opportunity to watch people shift their heads from left to right and left to right. And let's do this, let's do that, let's do this. I don't know, let's try that. I mean, it's like constant whiplash. And you can absolutely in the chat say, yeah, I mean, I never know what the heck we're doing. Like, what are we doing this month? What are we doing next month? I don't know what the schedule is. Like, if you've been in our organization, have you ever felt that way? I mean, all I have to say is, I'm sorry. Like, that's not how I want to operate a business. And I don't feel like that's duplicatable. And I can understand how it gives people whiplash. And they're like, I don't know what we're doing here. Yeah, I don't know what we're doing here, and I'm not sure if my leaders know, but we know what we're doing. And it's literally been like, listen, we got to make this so simple that anybody can walk in, that someone with 100,000 followers, or someone with a full-time job, or someone going through a divorce, or someone that works 3 jobs, or someone that is just has a lot of influence, but quite honestly, they don't want to spend a ton of time, but they sure wouldn't mind the shopping spree, or they wouldn't mind a free trip, and they just want to have fun. Think about all the different personalities of people. And I know that if you're on this call, you're engaged and you're willing, and you would do anything, no matter how complicated. You would, because you're willing. But think about all the people that you bring into your business. Do you think they would want to do all of the complicated things you're doing? Do you think they would sign up for that if you're like, hey, okay, so you have to learn how to run a messenger event. I'm going to send you all the posts. You're going to save it. You're going to save all the pictures to an album on your phone. I'm going to put you into this chat that has video testimonials. I'm going to teach you how to run one. Oh, plus we also have these 3-day challenges. It's in this group. And then we have this page and it's in this group. And, you know, we do these business calls on this night. And it's like so many different things. Can you put a 1 in the comments if you were somebody that was busy, successful, going through a stressful time? Like if you were walking into it as a brand new person, would you be like, I could totally do that? Oh yeah. Like somebody walking into it that wasn't yet making any income from Plexus. Okay, would you be willing to do that? Probably not. It doesn't sound like fun. And that's like literally the realization that I've had, because I've had the blessing of coming into contact with some influencers who have wanted to do this. And I know that I made it too complicated. Also, people that weren't influencers, but people that were busy professionals. And they looked at it and they're like, I can't do that because I don't want Plexus to be my full-time 8 hours a day job. But don't you want duplication? Don't you want people to come into your business in mass numbers and be developing silvers like this? Boom, 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 boom. Is that what you want? Put a 1 in the chat if that's what you want. Okay? I believe it's possible, and I believe it's available to us. And I believe the way to do it is through simple systems. And it doesn't mean you can't try other things or do other little events or do other special things, but there has to be a standing formula that anybody walking in could be like, oh, I could do that. That's so easy. And I could commit that Zoom ID to memory, and I could just save 1 picture, and I could have that one thing that I could send out to anybody. And I just have to invite them to this thing. I don't have to be an expert in the products. I don't have to talk to somebody all about candida yeast and detox and die off. Because guess what, guys? Most of your friends don't want to be a health coach. Most of your friends don't want to be Phyllis or Barbie or me or anybody else that's a health expert. They just don't want to be. They don't have the time. They don't know. But that doesn't mean they don't have great potential for the business, and they couldn't bring in 5, 10, 15, 20, 50 people. It doesn't mean they can't be a leader. And so we don't want to show people something that they can't do, that they can't duplicate, because people will do what you do, not what you say. So you can be like, oh yeah, that's great. Yeah, we have these calls and we have this Facebook group, but like, I don't really use them. I just talk to people, and I get them on the phone. I talk to them for like an hour, and then I get them signed up. How many hours in a day do you have? Like, what, for real? Do you really have 30 to 60 minutes to talk to every potential that comes into you through a three-way message, or every potential that wants to talk to you? Do you have that many hours? And if you are the limiting agent in your business, slowing things down, your business will not grow. Without systems that you can plug your people into that are third-party tools, you will keep spinning your wheels, because your time will be limited and your energy will also be limited. And other people won't look at that and think, that's super creative. Yeah, I want to do that. I would love to be on the phone for 4 hours talking about yeast with people all day. And I also want to sign up all of my potentials people. I want to sign them all up, all of them. I just think, I'm like, oh my gosh, that's madness. Like, we have so much more potential in this team with you guys. You guys. We used to do Zoom calls, Kirsten can attest to this, and have 100 potentials on a call. 100. And it was like hotcakes, signing up 20, 30, 40 people on our team in a day. Okay? So you can accept or reject the system. It's fine. But what I am speaking is truth about systems. I know it in my bones, because I could not be where I am today without learning all of this stuff. And so what we have put in place to help you succeed is plug and play. Zoom calls, 15 minutes, pink 15, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, 7 p.m. Mountain. Everybody say it in the chat. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, 7 p.m. Mountain. Same Zoom ID, same password, same graphic all month. Oh my goodness, you don't have to memorize. Oh, what's the Zoom ID? What's the link? It's the same. We finally, after 6 years, created a separate Ohana Plexus Zoom account. It is the same Zoom ID. And so when you reach out to your friend and they're curious about it, all you have to do is share a video, maybe a story, and say, hey, why don't you come to this call tonight at 7? Oh, you can't come tonight? How about tomorrow? Oh, you can't come tomorrow? How about Thursday? Or maybe after reading the story and watching the video, they're ready to sign up. Okay, sign them up. But guess what you still do? By the way, I want you to come to this call, 7 o'clock tonight. Can you come? No? Okay, how about tomorrow? No? Okay, how about the next day? Why do we want to plug new people that are potentials or have already signed up into a 7 o'clock call? Somebody tell me in the chat. Why, even after we've signed them up, do we want to use the system? Community, validation, reinforcing their decision. Also, so that they can see that we're pretty cool people. We're awesome people. We do these great 15-minute calls. And on that call, if you have been so afraid to ask them to invite a friend, guess what we do? At the end of that call, our common format is, we'll be back here tomorrow. Different speakers, different stories, a little bit of a different twist on the same information. We want to invite you to bring a friend back tomorrow, because we know that you know somebody who is struggling in silence. So we are literally prepping them and saying, hey, come back tomorrow. By the way, it's the same Zoom ID, the same graphic. You don't have to memorize anything new. And if you just want to come back tomorrow and hear some different stories, we would love to see you. It's so easy for a new person that's coming to check it out, or somebody that's just joined, to be like, oh, that's easy. I'm going to tell my sister to come on tomorrow. I'm going to tell my coworker that wants to lose 20 pounds. So we're using that verbiage, same time, same place, same Zoom ID. Guess what, you guys? It will never change. It will always be the same Zoom link. And I would encourage you to copy the Zoom link, save it in the notes on your phone. And you can just say, Team Zoom link. Boom. Always have it. The graphic we will change by the month to give it a different feel. So in Christmas, it'll look a little bit more Christmassy. But they're 15 minutes, max 18. You guys, we have been so good about keeping these short. Why? Listen, I know you like to talk about yeast. I know you like to talk about all the different things because it's like fascinating to you and you love it. But most people have the attention span of a gnat, myself included. Like, we do not have long attention spans. In fact, as research is coming out, people have shorter and shorter and shorter attention spans. So 15 minutes is brilliant. That's what people want. They don't care how much you know about the products. They care how much you care about them, and they want to know if these products are going to work for them. That's all they care about. They don't care about hearing all the details. Very few of them do. If they do, you can do that privately. But what is this going to do for your people that come in? Tell me in the chat. Are they going to feel like they can do this? Is it going to release that pressure that they have to be an expert on the products? It's going to be so duplicatable. So every person you sign up, you're like, hey, let's get you scheduled to hop on one of these calls. They're every night at 7 p.m. It's only 15 minutes. It's going to help you to have more confidence in your choice and understand what you've said yes to, and you're just going to love it. Which night is best for you this week, right? There's always one. Now, of course, there might be times when you need to do one at a separate time, right? And that's fine. We're not telling you don't have the freedom to do that. But what I'm talking about is mind-blowing, expansive growth. Mind-blowing, expansive growth, like me going diamond in a year or Phyllis going diamond in 11 months, that doesn't happen by you reinventing the wheel every 2 seconds. It happens with simple systems like this, okay? The other things that we have in place, Thursday nights at 6 p.m., same Zoom link, same password as the 7 p.m. ones. But every Thursday at 6 p.m. is a VIP welcome call. A VIP welcome call. These are fun, no longer than 20 minutes. In this one, we dig a little bit more into how to take the products, how to get the best results, what you're getting out of this community, and what all of your perks for VIP customers are. So we are going to spend a little bit more time on why you would want to share, how you would share. Guess what we're reinforcing on the 6 o'clock calls, the 7 o'clock calls. We're saying this is so easy to share. Honestly, we have you set up to where you can share your link and you can invite people to come at 7 o'clock any night, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. We'll teach them about the products, get them set up with what they need, and they can just use your link to order those products, right? And here's your benefits. You can choose either $60 in product credit or $360 in cash. If you were going to start sharing, which one would you take? $60 in product credit or $360 in cash? Most people are going to say the cash, by the way. Okay? We're going to get them excited. Here's another cool thing to know about our VIP welcome call. If you have ambassadors that have never shared or come to a call, you should invite them. You should absolutely invite them. Every single VIP that's new on your team should be invited. Phyllis is using her Project Broadcast to automatically text all of her new people, and she had like 10% or 20% or something say yes, and they came. They came to the VIP call. And if it's their first call, they're entered in the drawing, and so is the sponsor. So you as the sponsor are being rewarded for doing the work. If you invite somebody and they come to their first VIP call, you win the prize and they win the prize if their name is drawn. So every month we have something different. We're making it fun. We're building that community, and it's just a standing call, 6 o'clock, different leaders each time. And then Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, what time is our Pink 15? 7 o'clock, 7 o'clock, easy peasy. Last thing, some people are like, dude, my people have Zoom fatigue. They hate Zoom. They don't want to be on Zoom. I can't get them on a Zoom. No problem. They like Facebook. Yay. We have a Facebook group, Level Up Your Life. We did not put the name Plexus in it for a reason. Number one, it puts compliance arrows on us, and just like everybody in Plexus wants to be in stuff we do. So we're like, we are just here to help people level up their life. We're talking about mindset. We're talking about products. We're showing testimonials. We're doing different challenges like our intermittent fasting challenge. That's not just all Plexus, but helping people to make lifestyle adjustments. Because really what we want to do, yes or no, is we want to help people change their lives. We want to help them grow their confidence. We want to help them be healthier. We want to help them to make more money. We want to help them to just take everything in their life to the next level. So level up your life. And we've taught this simple system, the MAT system: message, add, tag. If they refuse to get on a Zoom, you message them and say, hey, no problem. We have this private Facebook group. I'd love to add you to it and tag you on just a couple of posts so you can take a peek at what would interest you. They say yes, you add them, you tag them on 2 posts. Do not go hog wild crazy and tag them on 10 things. Tag them on 2 things to start, message them back and say, hey, I tagged you on 2 posts. Were you able to see them? This is how we create the follow-up. They say, yes, okay, cool. I'll get back to you tomorrow and see what you thought. It's not, I'll add them in there into the black hole of the abyss of the Facebook group and I'll never check in on them. Okay, we're going to add them, tag them on 2 things, check back in with them within 24 hours. You could either re-invite them to a 7 p.m. call, or if they didn't quite get the information they wanted, you could tag them on another post, right? So we have these systems that are so simple. Why would a Facebook group also help your busy potentials? You enroll someone named Shelly. You add Shelly to level up your life. Shelly's more of a Facebooker. She doesn't like Zoom. You say, Shelly, no problem. Here's a simple message you could send to those friends you were thinking of that would invite them to this Facebook group. You can add them to this Facebook group, and here's 2 posts I would recommend you tag them in, right? And you just help them learn how to add people to the group and tag them. And then you check back in and you say, hey, Shelly, hey, why don't you today, like the next day, why don't you just check back in with them and see what they thought of those posts they read? So you're literally teaching people, you either invite them to a Zoom or you invite them to a Facebook group, or both. It's not this month we're doing this, next week we're doing this, next month we're doing this. I don't know, whatever we feel like we'll do the next time. It's like everything. Our Black Friday group, any of our challenges that help them with their lifestyle, their mindset, or their products, everything on Facebook is going to happen in that group. You don't have to join 5 million groups or join this event or that event or whatever. It's just all right there. If you feel resistance to a change, I understand. But what I really want you to think about is, how am I making the business complicated so that it's not attractive to people? And how can I make it more simple? Think of your busiest, most successful friends, or the people that you know need this the most because they're going through a lot of things in their life. And the idea of dedicating all of their hours to Plexus is like nauseating, okay? Those people are not going to follow some of the systems that we've been doing because it's too complicated. So we have to think, does it pass the napkin test? The napkin test of a Zoom event is, hey, here's a little invite you could send to your friend. Here's the graphic and the link. Every night, Monday through Thursday, why don't you send those invites out to these friends and let's just get them on a call. They can pick a night. Sound good? Like super, super easy, okay? We are not using the level up with Plexus because we had some things, like some snitches in there, to be honest. We had snitches and there were too many things getting flagged in there and it was just becoming a total nightmare. So don't use that group anymore. We're going to archive it soon. You should be adding them to level up your life, and we are only adding team members that are actively using the group. In fact, we're not even just adding random people throughout our team that aren't using the group. We're just adding leaders and people that actively want to use the group because we want it to be an active participatory group, okay? So that is the simple system. Now here's what I want to paint a vision for you, is if you decide to embrace the system and really use the calls, use that simple idea of inviting them and then talking to the ones that join and saying, hey, why don't you invite your friends? And it just becomes this chain of inviting, or using the group and making it a chain of inviting, is that when you do this, you are going to automatically start developing more silvers. And a lot of you are looking at Leaders Retreat and you're like, oh, it's so far away. Oh, I'm not as far as I thought I would be. Oh, maybe I'm not going to go to Leaders Retreat this year. And I'm like, okay, it doesn't matter if you have 0 points. If you had 0 points last month, you're still going to Leaders Retreat if you embrace this system and you work your own personal business of reach outs, following up, and getting people started. If you sponsored 6 people this month and you developed 3 silvers using our simple system, you had 200 PV in a subscription, and you re-ranked or maintained your rank, and from those 3 silvers, you had 9 level 2s, you would have almost 350 credits just from doing that. That doesn't even count any retention credits you would earn, or if you were to rank up to senior silver or gold or senior gold or ruby or whatever your rank up would be. And so if you can imagine 2 months in a row of that, that's all to earn Leaders Retreat. So if you add in retention credits, if you've got some people from last month and the month before and a rank up, you're already surpassing 450, 500 credits this month. You guys, duplication doesn't have to be painful. It doesn't have to take tons and tons of your time. It doesn't have to make you want to run away from Messenger because you're in 50 three-way messages. It can be as simple as utilizing the systems. I know that if we all do this together and we get in the boat and row, and we're like, I'm gonna say less. I'm gonna share more third-party tools. I'm not gonna make myself the expert. And I'm gonna lean into the systems and into a quick close. Oh my gosh, didn't you love that call? You know, I've been thinking about what pack would be the best for you. I really think it's the Active Lifestyle Advanced, or I really think it's the Gut Health Advanced. What do you think about getting started now that you've had a bit of a taste of what Plexus can do for you? It's not waiting until they come to you. It's like, hey, you send them to this thing, they got some great information. Now you give them their pack recommendation, sign them up, and say, hey, why don't you come back tomorrow and invite one of your friends you were telling me about? And if you come back tomorrow to the VIP call, or this week to one of the VIP calls with a friend, you get your VIP membership paid for. Because that's what we're doing, you guys. If somebody comes back and they've picked out a pack, you know, they've come to a call, they've decided to join, they come back to a call anytime that month and they bring a new person with them, we're paying for their VIP membership. It's a beautiful system if we all hop in and row together. Are you guys excited about this? Yes, okay. All right, awesome. So I'm looking forward to this. And thanks for typing those notes. Any of you guys that have typed notes or anything, messages, etc., if you could drop them in our Bootcamp thread for us just to help. And let's just really dig in this week to using the systems and to working on those thought work and mindset tools that Phyllis and I have shared. We believe in you, we love you, and we know we are going to have a gosh dang huge party in March in Florida at Leaders Retreat, and you are going to be there if you claim it. So I want to hear you claim that right now. I will earn Leaders Retreat. I will earn Leaders Retreat. I want to see it in the chat. All right, you guys, thanks for spending this Saturday with us. I will have a link for this call later today. Right now, I'm going to go see a movie matinee with my family. Love you guys. Bye. Thanks, Phyllis.